Well, hello everybody. Hope you're okay. We're not going to say fantastically well throughout this one. I don't think it'll land the same way. Make sure you're slapping a like on the video. Make sure you're paying your rent, as I always say. Slapping a like on the video costs absolutely nothing, everybody, and it really helps me out. So really appreciate it. We've got two of the finest on tonight. We've got Steve and we've got Matt. It is the fan forum. We're going to be getting into it. And as I say, everybody, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Have you cooled off? Have you taken a little bit of a step back? And is your thought process any different? Let me know in the comment section below, as always. I'm still fuming, says Lofts. Someone has put together all Melee's mistakes this season. He's cost us 13 points. Turn up the mic, Conlad, as always, mate. Yeah, of course. Is it a bit low? If it is a little bit low, I'll let the fellas, of course. Hold on a sec, mate. Might be a little bit better. Let us know. Is that all good? Are we all good? Let me know. If not, there we go. That's probably better. It's absolutely just blasted my earphones anyway. So yeah, is that all a little bit better? Is that all? Just give us it. Yeah, Rolling Wolf. Just seen you in the background, Steve. Good lad. Sorry, lads. New system and all that. So really appreciate that. What I was saying basically at the start, let us know in the comment section below. We're back here with the fan forum. Steve and Matt, two of my good pals on this app, two patrons who have become very, very familiar with. Top lads, top Leeds fans as well, who give it absolutely real, which is what it is on this channel. Authentic, raw thoughts. It's been a rough day for us today. Sheffield United winning, Burnley winning, Leeds United drawing up against a team who've got absolutely jack to play for. If Leeds don't go up, Connor, who do you blame? Everyone enjoyed this weekend. Shut up, Joe. Cheer up, guys. 26 up the feet, up the Clarets. Here we go. Getting bantered, aren't we, for the rest of the weekend? Fantastic. Evening, gents. Yeah, 100%, mate. That's what's happened when goats have high expectation, thinking that this league is a stroll in the park. 100%, pal. Right, without any further ado, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome two of my finest pals on this app. We've got Rolling Wolf and we have got Steve. Gentlemen, apologies for me absolutely blitzing the introduction there. I'd say how we do. I'd say how we doing, but it feels like it's rough, this fellas, isn't it? I tell you what, Steve, we always come to you first, mate. I know you're a passionate one like me, so we'll come to the measured one in the group.
Yeah.
We'll go to Matt first. Matt J. I don't know what to say, fella. Matt, I am. That is the most confusing performance of the season. It's the most confusing end to proceedings. It's the most confusing mentality. It's the most confusing first and second half. I can't sum it up, mate. I'm not intelligent enough to sum what the hell has just happened up. How are you feeling about
that? I'm still raw to your point at the beginning, Connor. I mean, bloody hell. What I wanted was that we were going to come back after the international break, all guns blazing. Let's get it done. I've put it in the chat with you guys before. I was ready to kind of rock and roll in terms of getting it done. Swansea, nice game to have coming back at home. Few players rested. But after that, the first few seconds, when Aronson got that goal, fair play, he came back in. Not sure about that, but he got the goal. And you think we're in the ascendancy then, that's it. And we've said this before, that we think then we kick on. And we didn't. It was so nervous, that the way it was. And there's like no reason for it to be nervous. I just don't understand the approach to it, why that is how the players play. There was a few question marks around the starting lineup. Byram, for example, I'm thinking, okay, Byram's solid, but why is Farke playing safe at home on this first game back? You know, why? I get the midfield change with Tanaka at first because of travel, and I even get why Firpo was out as well. But Byram in there just I didn't get what we were trying to kick on to do then, and then it just pulled back after the first goal, and then really struggled after that. Lots of players were off it. what I'm worried now is about the mentality. The goalkeepers cost us again. We've said this earlier. It's coming to roost, isn't it? In some ways, the fears we had are coming on this bit of the season that we had last season. And what I don't get is Farke was there, right? Wasn't he last season? He knows what happened. He was there when we faltered, ended up in the playoffs. So the whole thing about rotation that we've been talking about for weeks, I don't get why he doesn't get it now. And today has really proved that. Nonto almost got him out of jail. And that would have been like, well, masterstroke in substitutions. But it's come round and bit us, unfortunately. And as I said, the goalkeepers, I think even he dropped that first one under no pressure. I think he could have done much better on the second one as well. I know it's across him, but the angle, he got a hand to it.
Matt, there's not a debate about it, mate. There's not a debate about it. On every, it's embarrassing. It's a joke. The guys, the Swansea players at a complete acute angle. That cannot go in. It can't. Yeah. It cannot go in. That shot, mate.
The players, if you look at the players, their reaction, I don't think that reaction was because, you know, we've thrown it away or there was part of that. But what their reaction was directed at the keeper. Just hands, like, unbelievable. I think that was it.
Again
at Mez. And now what final thing before I stop going on and on is that what worries me now is we didn't want this mentality thing now being us under pressure between now and the end of the season. We needed to win our home games. I know we haven't lost, but we needed to win our home games to take that pressure off us. So we don't keep looking at last year, what happened last year. Yeah. Now, we've lost ground now psychologically. Now I'm worried about how it's going to go. And we could win the rest of the games of the season. Now, though, I'm worried about Luton. I don't know where our mentality is.
I'm going to shock you now, because normally I'd have a bit of a rant and a rave about our, international break and about, we played poor. We played absolutely abysmal. And Meslier, simple goalkeeping. He has this tendency that when a ball's in front of him, you know what, in all fairness, if he'd have banged it out today, full marks, but he didn't. He tipped it and he took it down. He floored it down instead of taking it in his hands and bringing it in. Simple basic goalkeeping. That's Meslier, right? I'm like, when it's obviously going to go down to the wire. I'm just glad we got this goal difference. And instead of banging on about what we shoulda, coulda, woulda, I'll never agree with a lot of what Farke says, because I'm all for defending a team, but I'm all for, like, I hope he gives them a bit of a roasting when behind closed doors, because I think they could have done a lot better today, a lot better. I'm going to chalk this one down, and I'm not being negative, and I'm not trying to, pour anybody's opinion, pour cold water on anybody's opinion. Your opinion is your opinion, and that's it. Is that, we could. If today I would have played. I would have brought Tanaka on at halftime. I'd have played Gruev in midfield today. I can't understand for the life in me, number one, why he played. Oh, here we go.
Byram. Is it Byram?
Byram and what's his name in midfield? I don't understand it. He was clearly in pain. Ampadu, yeah. He was clearly in pain today. He was clearly struggling. You saw him going down and touching his knee. He was like holding his knee. So this whatever rehabilitation he's gone through, question mark number one. I know it's the end of the season. We need it when he's influential in midfield, but seriously, after that, I would have if I'd have seen him do that, I would have brought him off immediately. Don't take any more, put any more pressure on an injury that his season he was seeing defining. But today was poor, absolutely poor. 3 points. But for me, the interesting thing, like Matt said, after the first goal went in, and I said when we were messaging early before the game, let's get an early goal. You agreed, Matt, and you said more or less said the same. Get an early goal. Let's kick on. We didn't. We sat back. We allowed them the space. We allowed them to pressure us. We allowed them to kind of dominate midfield, which was, That's normally a no-go. I don't think we're on our game today. Let's put it down to international break, players going away, not coming back, gelling, whatever. But is that really an excuse? That's what Farke was saying. Is that really an excuse? And again, I'm going to go on about the same thing as what we've been going on about the majority of the season, the rotation. Where's Isaac Schmidt? Where's Isaac Schmidt? James clearly slow today. Wasn't a couple of balls ineffective. Bogle, yeah, he had an all right game. I saw, from what I saw, but clearly when Willie came on, that man is just on fire. But that's the difference between Willie came on and he was knackered playing for Italy. Everybody thought that was it, going to be out for the season, But he's come back and he's scored a goal, an absolute perler. But I said this a couple of weeks ago. You play to your strengths, and he's not playing. He's happy. Farke is happy to run those players into the ground, right? If you look at Bielsa, and I hate going on about Bielsa because he's long gone. You got Bielsa and you got Farke. Bielsa, if those players ran ragged every single match, they gave their all. Those players, if they weren't 100%, they got subbed. But Farke is happy to run players into the ground like Bielsa did, right, on every single match. But the difference between him and Bielsa is that he brings them out. Bielsa brings them out. Farke waits until 5 minutes. He waits until 5 minutes to go. I don't get it. I mean, I know he substituted quite early today, but he's only done that twice this season. The rest of the time, 70 minutes, and he expects miracles. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
I just, for me, I can't understand. I keep going on about this. We've all played football at a certain level. There's a thing called match fitness, and I can't understand for the life of me. If you're not match fit, you can't play a football game. You can come out and say a player's this, a player's that, a player's the other. But if he's not getting minutes in his legs, if a player has got 291, if a player's got 291 minutes, lads, in 2,070 minutes, how the hell is he to perform miracles? And I do look at people, and I'll be honest, and I'm going to be brutal tonight and raw with it. If people genuinely think that is how football works, they don't know football. If you genuinely think people can come on in that amount of minutes, 10% of the minutes that is available to play in, and cause damage and come on for 6 to 15 minutes and affect games in a ridiculous manner and win games, is completely unrealistic. I just don't understand it. And for me, this guy has got a top bench. You have got Isaac Schmidt, who's played 25 minutes of championship football and is getting a Swiss international call-up. And
everybody's raving about him.
And everybody's raving about him. The Swiss media's raving about him. The manager's raving about him. So...
Why isn't Farke raving about him? You know what? This is where I am, right? Whether he's a Farke player or whether he's a 49ers player, like they say, one for the future, right? If he's not match fit, why is he on the bench, right? That means he's not running. If he's not match fit, then why is he on the bench? If you're gonna have a bench, right, use players, but bring players in that can run, that can run for at least 45 minutes. But he doesn't. And like you said earlier today when you were on about those lads from Gladbach that you've spoken to, they said the same thing. Yeah. This,
Steve, it's an available interview on the squareball.net. You can put it on. Literally anybody in this chat can go and put squareball.net, podcast of Leeds United. You can look at what Borussia Mönchengladbach fans have said about Daniel Farke from day dot when we first got him in. It is exactly what we're seeing now. And it literally, Norwich lads I know, you guys are well aware of the Norwich lads that I know, has said the exact same thing. That is my worry right now. It's the stubbornness and it's the almost call-outs for Tanaka in the press conference, but the avoidance of responsibility for Meslier, of which he called him the best goalkeeper in the division a year ago, but yet he's not willing to address that. That's what is annoying me right now. And I just...
Lord asked him about it in the after-match interview. He asked him about it, and he wouldn't answer. He wouldn't answer.
Well, of course he wouldn't, because he said it, and it's accountability. And I'll tell you what, Steve, me and you are ranting on, mate. Matt, come on, mate, jump in and tell us what you're thinking. I can't, I've gone out, I've tried to get away from it. I've had a little bit of a walk. I've gone on about a 20k walk there in the in-between, try to calm myself down a little bit. And I can't, I've actually gone the other way, mate. I can't believe that's what's happened now. And for me, Matt, me and you've spoken about this, and you were bang on, Matt, and my dad's the exact same as you, really. He told me, after the Portsmouth game, he said, son, that's done. He went, it's done. And I went, it's not done, Dad. Don't be ridiculous. I said, come on. You've been saying it's all right all season. He went, son, I've noticed something in that Portsmouth game. It's done. I went, Dad, stop it. You're scaremongering. Even with me and just him chatting. I don't think it's unequivocally done. We've got 7 games left. We're still bloody top 2. Come on, let's be a little bit more positive. And I'm going to go. And I'm going to go and have a go at my old negative old man now. And you can see where I get it from. But at the same time, Matt, I'm worried about this gaffer. I'm worried about his post-match press conference conversation about where he said he's 100% convinced that we're going to be in the... He's just said in the press conference, he's 100% certain that we're going to go to the Premier League. How can you say that now? We're on the same points as Burnley. Sheffield United are ahead of us now. They're top of the league. You've picked up 6 points in 15. What's he doing? For me, this stinks of pressure. That performance stunk of pressure, and his post-match press conference, I should say, stunk of pressure, mate. Where are you at with it?
Yeah, I mean, we've said about Farke's stubbornness for a while now, but the thing is, his stubbornness is actually starting to irritate us quite badly.
It really is. It really is,
especially at this point. Especially at this point with these games to go. I mean, when is Farke going to realise that this isn't Norwich? So I know he's been up twice with Norwich.
That's a good point. No, it's a completely different pressure.
Right. You're spot on.
I mentioned it in the instant match. Completely different pressure, mate. But go on.
Yeah. So this is Leeds United. This is a different type of setup, structure, pressure. So okay, you got promoted twice with Norwich before. Okay, that's brilliant. I get it, and that's partly why we got you in, Farke, why we got you in for our team. But it's on a totally different level now. So you do have to sometimes think, maybe I've got to do it or approach it differently to what I did with Norwich, because of the animal that Leeds is, and also what happened to us last season. So if he's not seeing that now with 7 games to go, I'm seriously kind of worried about how he is viewing how we're going to get up. Because if he's already saying 100% we're going to go up, the steps at the moment, I mean, are making him look a bit delusional, really. And again, maybe kind of like you said, it's the pressure that's making him say these things. But when is he going to get it in his head that this is massive, and you're going to have to change something? Stop relying on the same players to get us over the line, because it didn't last year.
Exactly.
Matt,
I think he's in trouble with us. Yeah.
Matt, this is the absolute BS that kills me with him, because last year we're looking at McKinstry, we're looking at Cresswell, we're looking at Gelhardt, we're looking at a novice Joseph. Right now, he's got Ramazani, a little bit more of an experienced, bulked-up Joseph. He's got a Nonto. He has got Isaac Schmidt on the bench. He's got Junior Firpo. He's got Altanaka. We're against Swansea, who have got nothing to play for. By the way, we've played QPR and Portsmouth, who've got nothing to play for either. And I know, listen, I've done loads of things on the channel where I've turned around and said, look, they've got everything to play for. But it's just trying to almost get myself into this deluded state of there's a reason why, we haven't upped our game and they have upped our game and we haven't equalized it, all this sort of stuff. It's basically getting myself into this delusion of which I'm thinking, look, no matter what, just believe that we're going to do it. But I'm just getting to this kind of rawness right now where like it's all coming to the plate where I'm thinking to myself, like, the guy I'm questioning him big time right now, Daniel Farke. You could not lose. It feels like a loss, doesn't it? You cannot draw that game today. You can't draw it. Lads, it's not over.
Yeah.
It's not over. We're bloody top 2. But I think what we've got to do and what we do on this channel, I feel, and as I've always done, is applied context. Years ago, we lost to Palace 5-1. And the chat was, look, it's not done. But there was context. It was the games that we had left. But the big thing was the mentality. Steve. I just look at this lot now. Why are they starting the game? Look, we scored the goal. Don't get me wrong. Aronson tackled it into net. Great. But post that point, Swansea grew into the game. Into the second half, don't get me wrong. We were the better team. But then there was a point of which they got a corner. Tanaka knuckleballed it out for a corner, which was bizarre. Knuckleballed it out for a corner. We defended the first one. The second one we couldn't defend. And then, mate, it looked like, Lewis O'Brien whipped the ball round. It could have been another one. It just all seemed to get nervy again. I don't know what it is, Steve.
I think it's two things for me. I think there's there's something going on in the background. There has to be because you can't have a together team like you do, right? If you're all together, okay. Like we've seen running down the goal line when we've scored a goal, everybody who's not played for all season is there. They're all on the pitch. They're all hugging and slapping asses. You know what I'm saying? It's there, right? So if that's not but that has to come onto the field, and I'm not seeing that. Which I'm like saying, okay.
Are you confident for Luton now?
Yeah.
You confident for Luton?
I am. That? Yeah.
Oh, I'm not, mate.
Bloody hell. Wow.
You have to be there. You have to be. Otherwise, what we're going to do, roll up and just be like suckers' thumbs for 90 minutes and just.
No, I get that. I get Steve. I'm with you, and it'll get to the next game, mate, and it'll be the day beforehand, and I'll think, do you know what? Bang on. Let's get Steve on a pod, and he's bang on the money. What worries me about that, mate, is that there's a fragility there, Steve.
It's his in-game management as well, Con. It's in-game management. There's no. It's too. What's the word?
Too obvious, Steve. It's too obvious.
It's predictable. It starts with the same players. There's no changing, right? So, but as soon 90% of the job is all in preparation, right? A team that comes to Leeds comes to play. They don't come to see how it goes. They come to play and to get one over of us because we're Leeds, right? We've seen it all season, and we've seen games that we've lost where teams have turned up and we haven't. Right? We're predictable. We're predictable from a squad perspective. Besides maybe one or two changes in midfield, we've got no at the back. We have to play Aronson, right? Because that's what Farker wants. They know that's the team that's going to come out. So as long as they quest the ones that run, as long as they chase down players on the wing or whatever, as long as we're going to put the same team out week after week, there's 1,000,001 games that they can go watch it where they know the predictability of it.
I agree. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And that again, rotation. Okay. For me, I'd take Aronson out and put what's his name in the 10, and put Ramazani in the place of the Israeli guy.
On the left, on Solomon.
On Solomon. Sorry, yeah. I put him in the middle. He's got more to offer. Ramazani needs to play. If he's not playing, he won't stay.
You've got a lad on the bench there who was hailed as the replacement for Somerville. And he's brought in, and you had a period of time.
I think he's streets ahead of Somerville. I think he's way better than Somerville.
I think he's ahead of Somerville. I agree with you. I think you bang on.
That good. Well, I'm not saying we'd have got more for him, but
No, but I think you bang on. I think when you look at it, I think Ramazani, when he's played, I think there's two signings here. I think Ramazani was a 49er signing. I think Solomon was a Farker signing. I think that's all it comes down to. Within
that as well, Farker's also contradicting himself where he's saying he doesn't like to play lone players. So he's got Rothwell every game and he's got Solomon every game. So there's that thing out the window as well.
Yeah.
So he's going back on himself. All right.
Yeah.
He obviously, but I'm going to come back to what you said. If he doesn't play, if he's on the bench, he's good enough to play. That, in my eyes, that's how I see it. So why not play him? Why only play him? Why not say to him, you got 60 minutes. Solomon, you got 60 minutes. Run your ass off, right? You got 60 minutes. I'm bringing Ramazani on at 60 minutes. So he knows what he's got to do. right? Ramazani comes on, and for 40 minutes, that guy can tear pitches up. He can run ragged. So can Willie Gnonto. But the good thing about both those players is they've both got a shot on them.
That's
We've
it. Yeah.
seen what Willie can do today. We've seen what Willie can do when he's come on and he's done it. He's had a couple of games.
Steve, 5 minutes. 5 minutes is on his does that. 5 minutes. But because
It's happened twice, Con. It's happened twice this season where we brought players on and they've actually made a difference, and we've actually gone 2-0 or 3-0 up, or we've equalised. And one of them was Gnonto, and it was about a couple of weeks back. It was a few weeks back. So we brought on a sub and made an impact.
It's QPR. It's QPR, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Go on, Matt. What are you going to say, mate?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's not just the players, really. I think it is going back to I mean, Farker is just exhausting some of them into the ground, yeah. And his in-game management is getting to what's worrying me is his in-game management has been in question. And what's worrying me now is that there's not many games left to go for him to change his attitude and his approach to the team and to change things. And I don't think he will between now and the end of the season. And I wonder are we getting to the point, and I know he has got us to the top two. That's the context for that. But I wonder if he just hasn't got that last bit of tactical nous or balls, to put it plainly, to get us over the line convincingly.
Matt, what do you have to lose though to change things up?
Yeah. But his mindset though will be it's too late. It's got me this far, so I'm not going to listen to other people and change it. And I'm just trying to, again, I'm really unsure of Farker, but I'm trying to understand his mindset. But he's going to be thinking, I've got to this point, still in the top two. Why should I change it? And the funny thing is, and someone said it in the WhatsApp chat as well, is what's sad is, I think, is that you can predict already. You could name his starting lineup for Luton, couldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Already.
Well, now he's
despite what's happened today.
But now he's gonna get to a phase where, I mean, he said it before, where he went, I was considering Gnonto ahead of Aronson, but my mindset didn't change. That was at QPR, and at that point, Aronson had howler after howler. And when I say howler, maybe a little bit harsh, but he'd had stinker after stinker for about 2 months. And then you're looking at a situation where Willie Gnonto is available, ready on the bench. But we keep getting told that apparently wingers can't play number 10. And he's contradicting himself because he said that this season. But then he puts Willie Gnonto in the number 10. Willie Gnonto puts in 45 minutes a better performance than over 90 minutes. Aronson put out in 2025. And then he's then talking about Willie Gnonto being in the number 10. He's done it again in the post-match press conference. I think the pressure's starting to get to him, lads. I'll be honest. I'll be brutally honest. Matt, I'll be honest. The pressure is getting to him. I cannot believe he's come out. And obviously, we're on the instant match reaction afterwards. We didn't see it. When he's coming out and saying we're 100% going to be in the Premier League, who does he think he is? Who does he think he is to say that? I mean, what sort of pressure is that? That is the worst thing to say in a post-match press conference when you've bottled a lead to a side who've got nothing to play for twice. You can't say and put that pressure. Do you know, this is one thing I'll say, lads, and Matt, I'll come to you on this as well. I'll come to Steve after. This is one thing I'll say. I'm hearing from Parker, I'm hearing from Wilder all week. It's all about the fun. It's about fun. It's about looking forward. It's about enjoying the moment, getting geared up and being excited. These are all the words I'm hearing, this, that, and the other. From us, it's, we're going to attack it with aggression. We're going to go into it and we're going to win these games. It's like, hold on a minute. Why don't you just take the pressure off? Take the pressure off and try, enact a little bit of assurance that we're going to go into it. And because we're top of the league, be relaxed, play your game. I didn't feel that. I watched the full press conference the other day, and I was, to be honest, I was pretty anxious coming out of it, Matt.
I think he's deluding himself in some way, saying we're going to start aggressive and all that sort of stuff, but we don't. So I don't know what he's kind of saying to his players, with the handbrake on, or it's opposite in his mind. So I think you're right, Con. I think the pressure's starting to crack a bit, and I think he's starting to drop things in conversation that probably don't quite fit. And just as well, that international break thing as well. How come Burnley and Sheffield United can just hit it like from last night?
Burnley were
we're
very
again,
good as well. Burnley very good, very good.
And we're again that struggling. We're struggling coming straight back when we've got better squad, better bench, better goal difference. You know what else? What more you can say? But we're the ones that have to be pegged back and held back again.
That's the manager on me. That's the manager for me. You know, I said just after Christmas, he let the handbrake off, and we started playing fluidly. We were opening play. We were attacking style. The players were running. They looked like they were enjoying themselves, and I really felt it, and I was like, here we go. We're gonna blaze it now. We're just gonna go on and on and on. But a couple of games in, handbrake's back up again.
Maybe you didn't like the Cardiff game. Maybe we scored too many. You know, we were too free flowing then. Maybe that's just not what he knows.
Right, so if we can do it then against Cardiff, why can't we do it against other opposition that we on paper would be blazing away?
Steve, you're looking at. By the way, just a bit of context. Watford, who when they came up against us, was still in the top 6 for home form in the division, and we demolished them 4-0. Coventry had won about 4 games out of 5 when they played us. We beat them 2-0, and we had about 23 shots. Derby County had just beaten West Bromwich Albion before playing us, who I think were the same position as 4th or 5th in the division. We then went there and we beat Derby County. We beat Sheffield United, we beat Sunderland, and then you play Millwall, and obviously you beat Millwall, but then you play QPR, Portsmouth, and Swansea. There's something off for me. How can you let that slip? I mean, look, we're still top 2, but look. The positive is for me. Do you know what, Matt? I know your response, mate. I am deludedly thinking. I'm talking it into existence, mate. I'm talking it into existence. I'm trying to separate my heart from my head. We are gonna get promoted, but I tell you what, if Burnley had a modicum easier fixtures, just a little incremental bit of easier fixtures, I'd be probably turning around now and saying we're going to be 3rd. I'm literally relying on a Coventry fight back against them, but then you've got to rely on Leeds United. Leeds have then got to go to Luton and win. You know, are we going to go to Luton and win, even if Burnley falter? By the way, which they're flying at the minute. They just dispatched of Bristol in pretty decent fashion, pretty easy fashion, by the way, when Sheffield United struggled against them at home and it was a 50-50 game. Burnley just dispatched of them. It feels like the other two are hitting form when we're kind of, I don't know, man. 6 points in 15. It's well below our season average.
You've mentioned something there, right? We haven't hit form all season. We haven't had a run of games where we've been like, where everybody's like so confident with scoring goals. There's, proper player rotation. There's everything. We haven't had that this season. We've had a couple of wins, then we've had a draw, then we've had a win, then we've had a draw, then we've had a draw. You know what I mean? We've not gone on a run this year.
Yeah, and I just really, it's so exhausting knowing that we can just never. Why do we always end up relying on other teams and other scores and other results? Why can't we just? And when we've been in good positions to take advantage and push ahead, we've just never been able to do it. And I don't understand it. And I think, Connor, you scared me again there, mate, by saying 3rd, because if we drop into 3rd, and I'm not saying we will, because the things to come, right? Things are going to be up and down. But if we drop into 3rd, mate, I think we're done.
Yeah, you said it.
And I don't want to bring everyone down even more on a Saturday night, because we should be trying to get out of this mindset and negativity. But I mean, that's my worst fear, mate. We win to 3. I don't think mentally we're capable to get out of that if we drop into the 3. Burnley and Sheffield United will be laughing and pushing on because of the form they're in. And then you know what happens when we end up in the playoffs.
Well, let's get into a few comments. FFS says, now we see fan pages revel in Leeds' downfall again. Trust me, mate, there's no one at the forefront more than me. I'm getting killed at the minute. Carl says, can't calm down. Still few move. All seen this before, won't recover. Ian Blade says, evening, Connor. I don't like to intrude on private grief, but for this, I'll make an exception. Up the blades, up the ramble. Cheers, mate. Leeds United Calypso has said, need to discuss how shocking, lads, for that first half. My God. I mean, Ross, who is Leeds United Calypso, they've been down at the games today. My God, I've never seen more balls punted, since Johnny Wilkinson against Australia in 2003. Every single ball was being punted out of play. He was awful in that first half, wasn't he? Jesus. And it was symptomatic, wasn't it? It was symptomatic of all of them. And look, let's not touch on Joe Rodon. Let's make it a whole thing. Why were they nervous? What's it down to? Someone talked to me about psychology. I used to do psychology at school. I was contemplating doing it at A-level. I mentioned on the watch long, it could be catastrophe theory, where the adrenaline goes up, they hit a certain point and then dump. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But why, when you're getting Sheffield United in free flow, fluid form last night against Coventry, and then you're getting us up against Swansea, you've got nothing to play for. We're tense, the touches, the passing. Oh man, I sound like Roy Keane. But
who have we got to replace him if he has a howler? Nobody.
Who?
Rodon. Who can replace Rodon?
Yeah.
Who have we got? Everyone's allowed a howler game. Everyone's allowed a crap game. But not
Not now, Steve. Not now.
You know what I mean? It's just.
Do you know what I mean? Not now.
Look, that's why I say I think if we try and read too much into this, we'll end up, we'll end up flatlining.
Well, I think psychologically also part of that is I think you're also meant to learn from previous experience or what happened last time to try to not make the same mistakes or do things differently. So psychology wise, you think that would be a kind of positive for the team. Maybe there's some players there where the Leeds United shirt, when you get to this point of the season, is too heavy. Players must receive social media as well. They probably do feel it. Some players' mentality won't be up for that, even though they may have even experienced it last season, what we went through. But then that's down to the manager. That's down to the manager to reverse that psychology, to actually say and do the right things, including in-game management, his starting lineup.
He can
to make that difference, with inches getting over the line.
Mate, he can change. He can change so much of that lineup. He cannot. There's no excuses for him. Last season, when you're looking at McKinstry, when you're looking at Gelhardt, when you're looking at Cresswell, when you're looking at a young novice Joseph, fair enough. You can look at the board and say, come on, lads, you got Archie Gray at right back, a young lad who normally plays central midfield. When you've got Ramazani, Joseph, Nonto, Tanaka, Furpa, there's no excuses. There's no hiding for him right now. You've got the opportunity as well when you've got the guy in between the sticks costing us 13 to 17 points this season. As the manager, you can take him out. You can do that. And you've got a lad in Carl Darlow who people might not think I think Carl Darlow, to be honest, gets gaslit into being not this good keeper because he's had not a great cup performance. But once again, we talk about Ramazani, Nonto, Joseph, Schmidt not having these minutes to be a certain level. It's the same with Carl Darlow, by the way. You can't just come in completely cold and be at a really good level. But when you're putting Carl Darlow in right now, would he really be that worse than that? You're costing us 2 goals against a team who've got nothing to play for. Swansea, the reverse fixture, Plymouth, Preston, Sunderland. How long is this guy's rap sheet before, if it's based on a meritocracy, like we always hear from the gaffer, it's based on this, that, and the other. If a player performs well, he'll get in front of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If that's not the case, does that happen with the goalkeeper, or is there any point in Carl Darlow even being there, lads? There's no point, is he? He's a cheerleader.
The thing is, we're not playing to get promoted. We're playing for Vaka's ego. I understand that one.
I think there's some of that, yeah.
Think about it, right? He's not bringing off the bench because they can't trust him, right? That's a load of junk. Okay, he's got world-class players on that. All right, let's say well above championship level players. Okay, Otherwise, we won't be in the position we're in. We've been top for a large part of the season. We've been consistent at home, semi-consistent away from home. If you want to say, we've had a lot of draws. You know what I'm saying? But the problem isn't the players. The problem isn't it's the style of play, in-game management, and his bloody ego. That's what it's all about. It's all about Parker. That's how I see it. But the thing is, what's the Leeds United motto? Side before self. Well, he needs to go and stand in front of that and say, "Hang on, I've got the side. Yeah, we have the biggest crowd in the season. If I do take this club up, I'm going to be given however many millions to go and buy 30,000 players. Right? I'm going to be part of one of the biggest clubs in the UK, a proper sleeping giant, one club town in the whole of the county. Well, and all of Leeds, right?" And then, what's he doing? Shooting himself in the foot because of his ego. Because I'm Daniel Farker, and I do believe in what we do. All that stuff. But it's just he can't get out of his own shoes. He can't.
I think, and I think the Mez thing actually now I think that is on Farker, because we all know.
Matt, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
We all know his mistakes. We all know. It reminded me of Hull today of what he did there. But we all know his mistakes. Everyone sees it. Everyone knows he's got a clanger in him.
Would Chris Wilder have taken him out? Matt, would Chris Wilder have taken him out?
Yeah. I think any team in the bottom half would have taken him out, any manager.
If Sam Allardyce came in and said he's crap and bringing Carl Darlow or whoever he brought in and said he's not good enough. Yeah, Sam Allardyce has been around a lot longer than what. All right, I know, but he's been with some crap clubs, but he's also been around a lot of players. He's not semi-respected, or he ain't been where he is without knowing what he's doing or what he's looking at.
He's going to cost. He's literally going to.
It's going to come round,
lads. The guy in net, facts is going to cost us promotion.
But we said this weeks ago.
But do you know what it is now, Steve? It's shoulders out. It's like the fan base is going to kind of like look upon it now, because I feel like now maybe we're actually going to get a unanimous vote now. Because sometimes, bizarrely, it's been 70-30. This guy. I am convinced now, if this screws up, this guy, I mean, there's one guy picking him, so he's going to cost us promotion. He's going to be sacked on the spot, by the way. Sacked on the spot when you've had the 49ers invest as much money into Leeds United as they have. But you're also going to get this guy in there because the guy at the top has stuck with him. Bearing in mind, in January, he told us all not to panic. Do you remember that? He told us all not to panic, and he said it would be almost erratic to get rid of Ilan Meslier now. What after we were beating Sunderland and the ball went into the back of the net. After Preston, he let the ball in at the near post. After Swansea, when there's an arguable amount where he's like 3 goals in. You look at Hull City, there's an argument for at least 2 goals. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But because he wants to be proven right, he sticks with him. It is a top championship club. It's an embarrassment that this is actually happening right now. He's got to bin him off.
You're right.
He's got to bin him off for the next game, even if it's just for, almost like just dealing with the mess, dealing with the melee. He's got to bin Ilan Meslier off. Because listen, if he was performing at a high level, understandably, like you'd be a bit like, oh, God, there's a couple of mistakes, but Carl Darlow, who's got Hull City's player of the season not long ago, can come in, be a steady hand, 5-6 out of 10. It's better than having an absolute bomb scare like him in between the sticks. People forget that this is the most important position on the pitch, fellas. That is the most important position on the pitch. We're 2-1 up. In the last phases of the game, you get them going through an acute angle where they're getting veered away from goal, fires across goal, goalkeeper. And you saw Vigouroux, Swansea keeper, palming a few out. Joel Peru had a couple of efforts on goal. Really good palms out. Our keeper can't do that. Saves a penalty. Fair enough. Well done. First one in about 5 years. The other bits are the most important bits. And I'm absolutely sick to the back teeth of this guy. I can't, it's an accumulation of Farker and him. It's a massive problem right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I almost forgotten Conley saved the penalty, but he just, was great, but he just undoes it all with all the other stuff, all the hard work or trying to get back into it. He undoes it all with those mistakes. And it's why do we have to be the team that's got the weakness between the sticks out of all the teams as well?
Max, we're arrogant because they say at the start, they say last season, Matt, he says he's the best goalkeeper in the division, which my French was bollocks, absolute bollocks. None of the data backs it up. It's absolute rubbish that he's the best keeper in the division. So it's almost like it has to be this ego frame thing, in my opinion. Look, we're being raw now. We're being ruthless. And look, we can still go up 100%, but these are fragments in Daniel Farke's management, in my opinion. It has to be proven right that Ilan Meslier has done well. He has to be proven right that Aronson is the right pick. He has to be right, that Peru is over Joseph in any certain circumstance. He has to be right that Solomon is over Ramazani. It's just madness for me. It's absolutely madness. I think Matt was spot on. Norwich is a different proposition to Leeds United. And sorry, Matt, I'll let you continue, mate.
No, it's fine. It's I don't know. I don't know why this point. Why it is the stubbornness and arrogance of Farke that he's almost like going to die on his sword by staying with these people and positions, including Mez, that are just not going to work and going to cost us. But at the end of the day, that will cost his job, and he'll be gone.
And Lewis is bang on here as well. It's not about Darlow being better; it's about him not being worse. I think that's literally it. It's why we've come out in so many videos and just been like, "He's fine." Darlow is fine. He's just not a bomb scare. Bang on the money.
And we don't see what happens in training. Maybe Meslier is really just amazing or something, but it doesn't transition into game day, does it, or match day? And it's going to cost us. But like I said, Farke will die by the sword in terms of what he is persisting with, and he will go, like you say, if we don't get promoted, he will be sacked on the spot. And it's just those decisions with those players that are going to cost it, which is just ridiculous at this point.
Joe, it is, Matt. It's more bothering me as well. Worst case scenario, this is bothering me. If we got to the Premier League, well, it's best case scenario, isn't it, right now? This is more, it's a poignant way of thinking right now. If this is how he is right now,
no ways is he going to survive in Premier League. No ways.
This is how he is right now when it comes to personnel, when it comes to tactical, sort of almost like, stubbornness. If this is how he is now, I am absolutely petrified if we were to get to the Premier League right now with him. And if that speaks volumes to you about what my thoughts are. I've always said I'm not black and white with Farke. There is a grey in the middle. I like what he's done, but there's criticisms with him as well. That's why I'm not really Farke. Well, I'm not Farke out, to be honest with you. And I think it would be ridiculous to get rid of him right now. But if he does not get Leeds promoted with the amount the 49ers invested in him, he needs sacking on the spot.
I'm gonna put a banner in the works now, right? And I'm gonna say that if he doesn't get a result at Luton, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out the door. Me personally, and to be fair with you, I wouldn't cry if he did. The only downside to that is who do we bring in? You know what I mean? I hope when we get to the Premier League that some manager that 49ers already have somebody in mind, not when we've lost 10 games, when we go up, because Farke will want his players to match his style. There'll be 49ers that want to bring a few things in. Personally, I think we should be looking at the under-21s and buying some stuff in to stay in the Premier League and invest heavily in the youth to bring them forward. But that's just me. But I would not have Farke in the Premier League. I would not. If he gets us up, I'd say thank you. There's your bonus. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's
my opinion.
Yeah, he's
not a Premier League manager. He's not.
Yeah,
and he's not right for Leeds United. He's not. And I tell you why, because the way he is now is the way he's going to be. He's going to be too defensive. We'll get annihilated up there playing this style, and he won't change his style to accommodate the fact that we've gone into another league. No way will he do that.
Yeah, he's a Champo manager, and what we've just got to hope and pray now is that he just somehow bumbles us over the line, and then we can make decisions in the summer about him. 49ers may stay with him and then give that old classic till Christmas, see where we are. I think they'll be very careful about spending extra money if he's in charge, because if he then has to go, what happens then? It's players in without the manager they came in for. But I think, championship manager, let's just hope and pray gets us over the line for the last few games, because I don't want to see him as manager of us in the Premier League. Absolutely no way. Totally agree.
Terry says, disgraceful. Keeper should be dropped a long time ago. Poor game management for me, not great. I hope they can pick their heads up and crack on. Mark B says, welcome to the reality of life with this clown in charge. Alistair says, that is the weirdest thing for him to say, completely out of character. I think Alistair was referring there to the 100% certainty that Leeds are going up. Ramazani is not match fit, though. Jan has cost us 49ers. Right. Look, I've mentioned this on 3 streams now. This is absolute rubbish, in my opinion, Paul. Look, Paul, keep the opinions coming. Everybody who agrees with Paul, please comment as well. I do not want your voice to be, hammered down by me. I want you to get that opinion in. I just 100% disagree with all of you.
Can I answer that? Can I answer that question?
Go on. Yeah. I'll go after you.
Okay. So if 49ers are that bad, how come we got Red Bull? Biggest sponsorship. It's going to be massive when we get up to Premier League, right? We've got to get there first. Big sponsorship, more sponsorships than they're working. Signing up, going out and connecting with youth academies in Europe. Brilliant move as far as I'm concerned. Taking over from where Chelsea left off and whatever, right? So we've signed up with a local one, and we've signed up with one in Scandinavia somewhere, right? The team's a lot better under the 49ers. The behind the scenes is a lot better under 49ers. The attendance is probably a lot better under the 49ers, right? So tell me why the 49ers are so bad. If they were so bad, why we're not getting relegated? Because if they were in it just for the money, take the money out of the club, we'd be at the bottom of the league. Simple as that. Because that mentality would start to trickle down through the rest of the club, and the players would give up. So right, if the 49ers can whatever, okay, then why are we in this position that but by us going up, pull the trigger to increase the ground capacity, this stage and a further stage down the line. Tell me who's going to come in and do that, right? The 49ers, and if you look back at the history, so from Ken Bates onwards, every single owner that we've had has raped the club blind. Let's not even get into Ridsdale. He did a job, he did a number, whatever, right? But if the 49ers are that bad, why are we in such a healthier position now, today, than what we have been in the last 20 years? That's an absolute ridiculous statement to make.
I think they've probably been the best owners we've had since we've been in the Premier League. I think as well, what I'd say as well is we had the best squad in December, we had the best squad in November, then we went into January and suddenly we needed 4 or 5 players, which was absolute nonsense in my opinion. 100%. And what I've said 150 times, and I will continue to say, is if Farker, Matt, was utilising this squad, if he was rotating this squad, the squad wasn't performing, the squad wasn't good enough, I would turn around and say, hands up, the 49ers were at fault. But when you're getting a Swiss international playing 70 minutes midweek, and by the way, off the back of 25 minutes at Leeds United, still getting an international call-up, and not getting any minutes ahead of Sam Steady on Byram, you then get in Joseph, you're then getting Ramazani, you're then getting Nonto, having limited minutes off the back of, let's be honest, what Brendan Aronson has had in terms of performance-wise over the past 2 months. People say Brendan Aaronson's got a goal. Imagine if maybe you had Ramazani and Nonto on from the start. You could have had a completely different picture. It's all hypothetical, of course, but Brendan Aronson scored the goal and then was completely anonymous for the rest of the game against Swansea at home. For me, Matt, look, if they hadn't have assembled him with a good enough squad in the summer, I'd have turned around and say 49ers, that's not good enough. It's an embarrassment in the January window that we've not done anything. The depth that we have, the depth that people still go on about us having, the squad that we have in this division, which I think is still the envy of all the other clubs who are rivaling us for promotion, is more evidence to the fact that this points more so at the manager not utilising the assets that he has.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think. Well, Farker's got the tools. He's got the players. It's been all strengthened since last season when it went wrong. So he's got no excuse to manage that squad to take us up. And the 49ers have, to be fair, provided that for him. Now, we didn't recruit in January, which I agreed with because we'd scored enough goals. We didn't have many particular injuries at that point. So whether they were trying to save money for later on in the summer or not, I think Farker still had enough without any recruitment to take us over the line coming up. So yeah, 49ers in that way have given him everything he's needed. And I think a top manager has got, gets us over the line. And he has got us to first or second, like we've said. But it's just that final push now, whether he is the person to take that really good squad over the line. And it's just given me some question marks again this afternoon about that and whether he is the man to do that. And it's funny, that thing about playing in the Premier League, my friends messaged me and just with a screenshot of him saying that, and he's a Manc fan, unfortunately, just saying that basically Farker's giving you the kiss of death. So I'm just like, I know what to say to that. It's why has he said that? Pressure.
I do think if Farker can't take the last 5 games and see that there needs to be changes, wholesale changes, and so that we can get the results that we need to do to get us over the line. And let's be honest, the more games we lose or the more games we draw, the more we have to win to get over to get up. And if we're not winning, other teams are.
Do we think if Luton beat us, say, are we going to still finish in the top 2?
No.
Is that too early to panic about that?
If we lose to Luton,
lose.
If we beat Luton, I think playoffs are now.
I think we've got to beat them. I think we've got to beat Luton. I think if we draw to Luton, I think it's done.
Yeah. And let's be honest,
it's not mathematically done, but as I keep saying, I go back to that Crystal Palace game in the Premier League. I go back to that Crystal Palace game. We had something like 7 or 8 games to go, but I called it on the channel. It was like the mentality. It shifted completely. They looked a little bit worn. They've got to go out now after that performance and beat Luton. They were terrible today. Leeds were awful today. They've got to go out when the pressure is at the door, and they've got to make diamonds. They've got to go out and beat them. Luton should have no match for Leeds United. We know we were in the Premier League last season, which is crazy to say, but Sheffield United have gone down there, beaten them. I think Burnley have gone down there and beaten them as well. Could be wrong on that one, but I'm sure they have. I think Sunderland have gone down there and beaten them. There's no excuses anymore. There is no excuses, especially with the bench that he's got, lads. There's no excuses. I'm not taking a point and we come back up and we go and beat Middlesbrough. No. You beat Luton, you beat Middlesbrough. That's got to be the expectation now. That I think it's to get 96 points now. We've got to win 5 out of the last 7, lads. To get 96 points now, we've got to win 5 out of the last 7.
I don't know. If we lose at Luton, you'll see the crowd turn off back now.
It's going to be very interesting to see the lineup, isn't it, as well for Luton? Is that going to be that, play to draw?
It's like. Oh, sorry. I thought you was
not
on
to lose.
Like play to the gallery sort of thing.
It's almost play. Farker sometimes plays to draw, not to lose. I think you said it.
Yeah, you're right.
I got the right way around. Yeah,
that's kind of what I was. That's what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago when we did a Patreon, and I was on about the 6 points, 3 above, 3 below. So we've got fluctuation. Don't let it get more than 3 or 4. You know what I mean? So we've got to win. Or we've got the capability to win and then jump up. That's what I was talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if he sets up defensively against Luton, that again that will worry me because he's going to go for that draw, right, when we should be winning.
We can see he's not
going to be proactive, is he?
You can see like a Gruev coming in, can't you? You can see a Gruev coming in.
Definitely.
Yeah, Gruev's definitely coming in.
Byram starts again.
Gruev comes in. You know, yeah. You can just lads as well. We've had 850 people watching. We've only got 200 likes. Please make sure if you are part of the channel, you pay your rent. I keep saying this: pay rent. Go and like the video, guys. It's absolutely free. It does wonders for the channel. If you don't pay your rent, if you don't like the video, it's completely free. These videos do nothing, and it kills me. So do me a favor and do the lads a favor as well. Because we all enjoy talking about Leeds United and providing a bit of free content for you guys. Pay your rent and slap a like on the video. Hashtag Budgie says, lads, went in front twice and all he needs is in-game management to run the clock down. We're going for it and then back off. I think that's bang on.
Yeah. I said to you, Martin, that I sent you a message and said we're just sitting back and let it happen.
You did. And I've said since George Graham, which I wasn't, you know, I didn't experience that with Leeds. I know Steve and Matt, you will have done. George Graham with Leeds United, I didn't experience, you know, a defensive first. Ever since I've known this football club, the best form of defense for Leeds United is attack.
Yeah.
Today, you kill the game off with what you've got on the pitch. And this is why I defend Ramazani. You know, you bring a lad on, you bring Ramazani on to defend, Matt. We're bringing Ramazani on to defend. That's what we're doing, which makes my French. No, in fact, no, I won't say it. But it makes no sense. You know, you bring him on, for me, in a transitional moment, around about the 45th, 50th minute, when you're looking to hurt them. If they're coming forward, we're beating them 1-0 or 2-1, whatever the friggin' hell it is. You're taking the game away, then bringing Ramazani on a little bit early. You're hurting them in the transitional moments. Of course you are, for me. For me, that's where it is. I don't think Solomon's been exponentially great. I don't. In the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, I think that's just the narrative. Solomon seems to get this free pass. I don't know why that is, but I think, you know, Ramazani is definitely a question right now to bring in. And at certain points in this season for long periods of time, we've not seen a lot of Ramazani, so I'll be interested to see what he can do. I mean, we've only got 7 games left now because the manager's not exposed him to more game time, so we'll you know, it is what it is. But for me, lads, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Ramazani. Look, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, okay. As good as Solomon is, I'm not convinced that we should buy him. To be fair, I'm not. I've got my personal reasons for that, but I think because he's a loan player, right? And this is I think Ramazani in the back end of the season should be playing. If Solomon's not playing well, then drop him. Or bring him in when he's not going to have to do as much as what he does. Okay, or try as hard as what he does. Bring Ramazani in, mix it up, stop being predictable, get the balls in the box, get on the end of it, you know, and get somebody on the end of it, and let's get 3 points. Let's just get some wins. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think. Funny enough, though, Ramazani, he was actually, when he was playing, he's actually quite a good defender, if I remember. As in, he does his defensive duties.
He had the
not that he's there for that.
No, that's why he's in the final recovery. I think it was in the final third, pressures and recoveries in the attacking third. It was like it was second or third in the championship. In the championship when he was playing. So
it's almost like he in some ways, Farker again hasn't got that excuse about the defence. I know Ramazani we want for attacking, but he can defend as well when needed. And yeah, we don't want to bring him on when we are trying to defend because that's not his strengths. But Ram has got a bit of both there. So again, it just widens the mystery of why he doesn't play. But I think Ramazani is off, as in end of the season. There's going to be other clubs interested in him. He's probably going to be pissed off he hasn't played.
Of course
he's got to be. He's got to be. You know. So whether we go up or not, he's off, I think.
Scored at the Bernabeu last season, Matt, and he can't get in the Daniel Farker side.
He went around.
The GD is Burnley +9 now. 7. We have to be careful. We do indeed, mate. Abdul Rahman, shout out to you, man. Abdul Rahman Al Khalifa says, sorry, friends, after today, I'm now convinced we are going into the playoffs. Something is not right. Selection was not right. Firpo was fine to start. Plus, Wise. Abdul Rahman, thanks if you don't know, mate. I don't think he's far off there. I'm. If we don't get maximum points against Luton, I'm convinced we're in the playoffs. That's my turning point. It will be. That will be my turning point because at that point, I'm very much like, do you know what, lads? There's a litany of results. You're then looking at Portsmouth, QPR, Swansea, and you're then looking at Luton, where you're struggling in all 4 of those games. That's when you're massively struggling. That is a big problem for me. For FC, it says we're 8 points clear a month ago. Now it's not in our hands. Rye says Leeds need to get promoted to save my hairline. Chris, who's a Burnley fan, says chin up, Connor. Leeds will be fine, which is, I don't know if that's almost like projection. I'm not sure. Gabe's in the building saying, anyone seen this movie before? Different players, exact replay of 2024. This is Farker. Won't make a judgments, won't change tactics or lineups. Stubborn, spot on. Demo's become a member. Shout out to you, mate. Andy says, coming up from Doncaster, all I could hear was Doncaster Rovers fans singing Leeds are falling apart again. It really wound me up, mate. I mean, Andy, don't worry, mate. It's little tin pot Yorkshire clubs who, we've got more. The thing is, mate, Doncaster Rovers fans and many teams in and around South Yorkshire are more bothered about losing than they're bothered about their teams winning. So take that as a big compliment, mate. They'd all love to be Leeds. FFS says, you just know the whole country will be tuned. Oh, yeah. That Luton will have never had a bigger game. Lads, anything else to say?
Nice little tribute to Chris and Kev today. I thought that was pretty cool. And if any of his family are watching, good. We're praying for you.
Yeah.
All the best.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, it was. To be honest, we didn't really celebrate it today. I didn't realize it was a poignant event. I mean, it's probably. I mean, not that you two would have had specific events tied to that, but it was. You'll have probably remembered that time, wouldn't you? And I mean, do any of you have sort of like memories of that event and how it was? Maybe you were watching it, or maybe you were thinking about it, or whatever at that moment. Do any of you have that, or not?
Well, really? I was living in South Africa at the time, and I remember, and over there that we didn't get a lot of leads. It was just back of the newspapers on a Sunday morning. I used to just throw the thing away. But I do remember. I do remember it being. Where's Con? I do remember it being. I do remember it being on the news, and it was quite. It got you. It got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it in the news as well. Yeah, just a totally horrendous, horrible situation, and thoughts and prayers still with the family now.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah,
at this point, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a bad time. Things like that should never be a part of football. I don't care. You shouldn't. There should be. I was watching something on another channel other day, not on YouTube. It was on Prime. And it was on about Liverpool and ISIL disaster and all that stuff. And again, it shouldn't be part of football. And I think it's sad when any fan loses their life at a football match. I think it's sad when any fan loses their life. Full stop. Young, old. But it's good that we are part of a community, that we are part of a club, just like other clubs do that celebrate. The life of any fans that sadly pass away.
Have you got any constructive criticism for Andrew?
Yeah.
Andrew. Farker's got constructive. Farker's got the players to make a difference and change things up and win us games between now and the end of the season.
Course,
so it's all there for you, Daniel. So just
utilize.
Just use what you've got. Use your weapons. Use your tools, and go for it. Take the handbrake off, and let's just finish the season strongly because you've got the ammo.
And as I say, I'm almost in delusion phase right now. I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? We'll go up, but I'm just trying to talk it into existence right now. So we'll wait and see what.
In them vibes.
That's it. Vibes. So I'm just let's wait and see what happens to Charles Loftus as RIP.
Yeah, good one. Good one. LUFC loss.
Chris and Kev. Cheers, Andrew. He's happy. He's happy. Right, guys, make sure you pay your rent. Slap a like on the video. There's over 800 of you in the building right now. Make sure you slap a like on the video. That's it. Joe Blackburn as well. Yes, welcome to the world of needlessly optimistic. That's it, Joe. Exactly, mate. We will get there somehow. I know we're still in the top 2. It's crazy that we're in the top 2, as if we're like 7th in the division right now, but we just know how Leeds United work, don't we? Nobody else will understand it. We understand it. So, yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Steve and Matt, thanks so much for joining me, lads. And, guys, we will see you on the other side. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.